Hello there everyone, my name is Sam Sprallo and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now in this video let's talk about whether the bottom is in or not. We're going to take a look at some technicals, we're going to take a look at on-chain data, and we're going to take a look at the macroeconomics and what's causing the price to go down in general, and then we're going to try to draw a logical conclusion whether we are at the bottom or not. And again, you might agree with me or disagree with me, and you can always let me know down in the comments. I'll be always happy to read all your comments. And then we're also going to take a look at some short-term possibilities in terms of trades over on Bitcoin, because I'm cooking some trades here, watching the market here and there a little bit so that we can take some really cool trades as a community. Remember that down in the description there is a link to my free Telegram channel which you can join and stay updated with all the trades that mostly I post them here on YouTube, but sometimes when they're happening really fast I post them in the Telegram channel, so join it right now. And yeah, so in this video really want to take a look at this big concept, whether it's a good time to be buying Bitcoin right now or it's not. So if you're into these kinds of things, you're into cryptocurrencies and you're into buying the dip and you really want to get into Bitcoin at lower levels, then this video is for you, and with all the deepest explanations of how it all works, put in simple layman terms. So without any further ado, please subscribe, hit that like button, and also don't forget to hit that notification bell when you subscribe so that you're always notified when I make a new upload. And please just do me a small favor as my community member and share this video on your social media. There is a share button on YouTube below the video which you can use to actually share it on your social media. That would help out the channel quite a lot, and thank you in advance. And remember, my videos are longer than usual, but they're jam-packed with a lot of information, so you're always welcome to watch them at 1.5 speed here on YouTube, and there is a button below which you can actually turn on a faster speed so it actually doesn't take up too much of your time, but you again watch it from the beginning and until the end as a proper Thomas Krallo community member, because otherwise you will not get anything out of these videos at all. So let's jump right into the most important stuff. So what do we need to understand before we actually make any conclusions? So there's always fundamental analysis, technical analysis, macro analysis, geopolitical analysis, if you want to call it as a separate analysis, which is part of macroeconomics. So I would suggest that it's always best to start with on-chain data when it comes to crypto. And with on-chain data, we're just going to go over it real fast, and we'll see that whatever we look at, it's telling us that we are currently at the bottom. So things like, for example, the realized profit and loss, that we're seeing the hugest realized loss, which is usually when we see these kinds of spikes, it signalizes a bottom in the price. Then also the same thing goes for the entity adjusted dormancy flow, which is at an all-time low, almost like right here. So that's also screaming the bottom. Then we will have things like MVRV, market value to realized value ratio. It's also currently very close to the bottom. We're standing right at the bottom, and etc. So the same thing goes for crypto fear and greed index. Right here, as you can see, we're just standing on there for a long time, just like we've seen it in 2018 as well as in 2020 during COVID crash. And by the way, I'm still seeing even my own ads, guys and girls. So if you've been seeing my ads, well, that's a sign you should become one of my students today. And with the exclusive link down in the description or in the pinned comment, you can claim up to 40% off on my famous trading learning programs, which are certified and accredited. And you also get a certified diploma at the end, and you learn active trading, investing, crypto, stocks, futures, and everything that you literally need to learn to be a professional trader. And there is a 40% discount going on right now, which is going to end in about 2 days. So you have 2 days left to join. Link in the comments, in the pinned comment, as well as in the description. So, and as we move on through all these things and we see the whales accumulating, etc., all this is great, and we've seen these things so many times before. And if we go to, for example, the weekly chart in Bitcoin, we're going to say that, oh, listen, but we're currently standing at this incredible support that has been, very, very important for us, and we're trading at incredible, huge discounts. And then we can also measure the usual drawdowns and say that usually the Bitcoin price goes down 80 or so percent, and currently we're down already 75%. So we are really in the vicinity of the bottom. But of course, guys and girls, these kinds of things work, and this kind of analysis is great when the money printer is on and the high risk assets are actually rallying, and we already know that that's not the case. So that's why we need to go further, and we really need to evaluate the macroeconomic situation and understand whether we're going to be dropping anywhere lower to, like, my personal price targets of about somewhere from 14 to 20,000, or in the worst case scenario from $10,000 to $14,000. And for that, we need to understand, what kind of events can push the price lower. And before we talk about all these things, let's take a look at some interesting stuff that I found online, which is again, which signalizes the bottom as well, to be honest. And that is that Bitcoin whales keep stacking sats, and they actually keep accumulating aggressively, and that's just what the data shows, and they have been accumulating more and more aggressively. So when smart money is buying, that's when you really want to buy as well. So that's also something that a lot of people are looking at. And one more piece of interesting news right here before we talk about my analysis of macroeconomics is that the crypto is very likely to rally in coming months as traditional assets fall, says a CEO of a $5 billion hedge fund. And here he says that one of our central views is that although obviously interest rates have to impact bonds mathematically, which is the case, they almost have to impact stocks, and then other things like real estate will certainly be targets of the Federal Reserve Bank. There are some asset classes like cryptocurrencies that should be uncorrelated or disconnected from the interest rate markets. Although it hasn't happened yet, crypto has been very correlated with high-risk assets. I can easily see a world, and this is what he is saying, in say a year when stocks and bonds are down, real estate down, but crypto is rallying and trading on its own, very much like gold does, etc. Blah, 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 blah. So there are a lot of people that are starting to call for the decoupling between the S&P 500 and NASDAQ and the cryptocurrency. So, and this leads me into my own analysis of the macroeconomics and what I can expect myself from crypto. Because remember, there have been many decoupling events before that, when Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies did the absolute opposite of what the stock market did. Because what the problem of most people is right now, guys and girls, and don't be one of those stupid people, is that they look at a very short time horizon. They look at very small time period and they're saying, oh, well, but it's correlated. And well, it is correlated right now, yes. But look into the history. Was it always correlated? There are these instances when it loses correlation. And this is something that, this cycle, why should this cycle be an exception? And at some point we can reach that point of decorrelation. And this leads me to the topic of understanding what is already priced in to the Bitcoin price right now. And what do I mean by priced in? Because we have certain bad things happening in the world right now, and when these things even have a chance of happening, the market starts to react. People start to panic. People start to pull their money out of it. And oftentimes when that bad thing actually happens, nothing really happens to the price, or it actually does the opposite, because it already was priced in, so to speak, because the people already reacted to it, and that's why they say, buy the rumors and sell the news. And this is where the saying is coming from. So for that, we really have to understand that we already have priced in war. We have priced in inflation. We have priced in things like Terra Luna and Three Arrow Capital and all the mass cascading liquidations. We've priced in, obviously, food shortage at this point, partially. Then we also priced in COVID, obviously. So all these things already priced into Bitcoin, which are all the bunch of most terrible things that have happened in such a short period of time in this bloody world. And we're still trading at $20,000. We're not trading at $200. So this actually is a sign of strength, in my personal opinion. But nonetheless, and lastly, we have already priced in the recession. And that it's obvious currently with the CPI numbers and CPI numbers that we are definitely going into a recession, and we already are in the recession. So Bitcoin price has already reacted to it. So we have already priced in a recession. Certainly, maybe we did not price in some most terrible, recession that hasn't been seen for the last 200 years, mass starvation, death, and zombie land, something of this sort. Of course, maybe something like this wasn't priced in, but in general, what we are seeing historically and this historic drawdowns and periods of stagnation, etc., we've already priced in. So the question then becomes, what is it that can push the price lower? Of course, we just lost another spot ETF of Grayscale, so that's also unfortunate. And there are so many things piling on that are terrible that the only things that could push the price lower, in my personal humble opinion, which could end up being the bottom of these price ranges from 14 to 20 or 10 to 14, these two price ranges, and that would be some extra cascading liquidations that we might see just simply, out of market physics, not because Bitcoin is dying or cryptocurrencies are dying or are useless or whatever, which is not the case because they're actually providing a financial revolution, but on the other hand, just because of the mathematics. So, and then also we might see some kind of, a housing market crash like in 2008 in the United States, which is going to affect the stock market, and then it's going to bring down crypto with it as well a little bit. But I'm not really seeing any other huge catalyst events that can push the Bitcoin price down to something like $5,000. It is just purely stupid, and it's just a stupid speculation that is not backed by literally anything, not even some historical data. So if you're expecting the price of Bitcoin at about $5,000, good luck, buddy. So in this instance, the big question right now is it a good time to be buying Bitcoin? And the answer is absolutely yes. And I mean, certainly if you have a portfolio of whatever amount of money, you can use 30% of it and buy now. And then if we're going to hit 14K, buy 30% more. And then if we're going to hit 10K, then buy 30% more. And then you'll have 10% left. And if we're going to go even, have some kind of liquidity swap below 10K, then you can actually buy a bit more. And that's it. And this is going to be a perfect portfolio for the future with an amazing average price of about $15,000, which is, half lower than the average entry price of Tesla and MicroStrategy, which is absolutely incredible. Now, let's move on to smaller time frames. Let's take a look. And we're going to see that we are still side movish, boring, nothing. And we're currently, you can argue, I mean, there is a bunch of really interesting small active trades that were possible. And again, if you're one of my students, you've been taking these. So go to tomscroll.com and become one of my students today, or use the 40% discount right now in the description or in the pinned comment, because you've taken these short trades, you've taken these amazing scalp trades from the small rejections from the previous all-time high. This level right here is the previous all-time high. And look at these super tiny stop, insane, like 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, insane, absolutely insane. But again, this is more for active trading. I'm looking more for bigger trades right now. And as I said in the previous video, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it right now. I really am looking for some kind of a rally, maybe up to 20K, and then build myself a nice short trade from there, going lower potentially. And yeah, so this is what I'm currently looking out for. I'm not really looking for any long trades at this point. As I said before, I'm still very much bearish at this point. And in the best case scenario that we could potentially see is, as I've said many times before, is some kind of a side movish activity right here, just like we've seen in this instance. And that is going to be also confirmed by the daily BBWP. And this is what we're seeing right now. So I think that we're going to see some kind of consolidation here potentially, unless we're going to see another extra catalyst for us to move either up or down. So for that reason, we can take some small trades here and there and be more short buys. Remember, if you want to be trading actively, use my links down in the description or in the pinned comment to either Bybit or BitGet and claim up to $9,100 in free bonuses on top of your initial deposit. And those are great exchanges with great liquidity and super low fees. And when you use my links, you get insane cash bonuses. So do that right now. I'm gonna actually link a tutorial to Bybit right here, actually up here, so you can check it out and learn how to use everything and how it all works, how to deposit money into it, how to use leverage, how to use technical analysis, how to enter into a trade, etc., and how to claim all those incredible bonuses. So enjoy, have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.